Hey, good evening, everybody. This is Christine from One Paper Place, and tonight I would like to show you how to make a little folio. So let's get started. I did do some of the work in advance, so you wouldn't be watching me for hours on end. I tend to be a very slow crafter. So this little folio winds up being about 4.5 inches by 8.5 inches when it's finished. On the left inside, there'll be a pocket. On the right inside, there'll be a waterfall. So one of the things that I did in advance was I got my chipboard ready. These are going to grow up to be the front cover, the back cover, and the spine. So I went ahead and cut 2 pieces to 4.5 by 8.5, and I cut 1 piece to 3/4 of an inch by 8.5. And I prepared this with my 2-sided tape. This is, I believe this is 1/2 inch, the Innotech 2-sided tape, which I absolutely love. I'm so happy that we have a supplier here in the United States. Hi, Stacy! That can provide us with this great product at a great price. So again, this is 2 pieces of chipboard that are 4.5 by 8.5 and 1 that is 3/4 of an inch by 8.5. And I am using the new Simple Stories Hearth and Home collection, which I'm in love with. I love these colors. I know I didn't order enough of this paper. That's part of the reason why I didn't make up another sample for you to see, because I'm like, oh my gosh, this is prettier than I thought it was going to be. So this is from Hearth and Home. It is cut to 12 inches. This is cut to 12 inches by 10.5 inches. And then I put it on my scoreboard and I scored it at 1 inch on each edge. Hi, Joan. I know I just missed a call from you. I had it on Do Not Disturb. So I just scored this at 1 inch on all 4 edges. And then again, probably a little hard to see because the tape has a white liner on it, but I put my tape on all edges of this paper. Now, the reason I scored it is, hello, Ramona, is that you want to have kind of a straight edge. Your goal is to keep this as straight as possible. Sometimes I go a little wonky. And one thing that I just remembered that I didn't do here is I didn't burnish my tape after I laid it down. That's really important to burnish your tape. For 2 reasons. It helps adhere the tape to your paper or project, and it also makes it a little bit easier to get your liner off of it. So here is what is going to wind up being the cover, the outside cover of our book. So I am going to take 1 of my 4.5 by 8.5 pieces of chipboard, and I'm going to start peeling my liners off. And this could take a minute. We are going to have kits for sale. I know sometimes you might have trouble cutting chipboard with your trimmer, with your paper trimmer. It all depends on what kind you have. I actually have more success with some rather than others. So I am going to fold these edges together so I can kind of see where my corner is here. And I'm going to pull this down closer to me. I will reposition it so you can see it a little bit better also, once I'm sure I'm in the corner, which I believe I am. Okay, so that guy will grow up to be my front. It looks like it might be a little crooked to me, but it's handmade. I'd love it all to be perfect. It's as close to perfect as I can make it right now. So I'm at home. Usually I do these lives from the shop, but I am at home today and I see my little kitty is crawling around my legs, and he's probably wondering what I'm doing. He maybe thinks that these liners from the score tape or from the Innotech tape are a treat bag, because that's seems to be when he hears plastic rattle, he thinks he's getting a treat, which one would think he gets treats all the time, but he really doesn't. Okay, front cover, back cover. The spine, this is really dangerous for me. Oh, I'm going to eyeball this and guess at getting it about halfway through. Hi, Amy. Good evening to you as well. So that's way off. That's like, oh boy. Well, we're going to see how that works out for me. Because I think I may have cut my chipboard crooked. Something looks way off here. Okay, next step. I have this neat little tool here that measures my perfect corner, and it's personalized. Somebody who owns a metal shop custom made these for me. So this little tool will measure how much I need to cut off the corner to get my corner perfectly mitered. So I'm just going to mark this on every edge. I am nervous about my spine there, just so you know. I'd like to share my anxiety, because it's probably not going to get better, but I'm afraid if I try to take it off, I'm afraid I'm going to destroy the whole, what I already have started here. So now that I've made these marks, I'm going to come along and cut on these lines. So I'm going to cut the corners, even though I wouldn't recommend cutting corners in general. When making a folio, you need to cut corners. Okay, so now once again, I am going to peel my tape off. I always say I'm going to peel my tape off, but I'm really peeling the liner. I'm not peeling the tape. Hi, Christina. So I can see right here, and here we go again, that good tape. I can see right here I have a little bit of bulk there in the corner. I'm just going to stick my bone folder in there and try to bend it back. And I'll be a little proactive here instead of reactive and get this bent in a little bit, so I don't wind up in the same position. Much better. Okay. So here's my cover. Now this is where I could have trouble with that crooked spine. So ordinarily, if everything's straight, you don't have to be this cautious, but since my spine looked a little odd to me, I'm going to be careful. But it looks like I have a pretty good book going here, if I don't say so myself. I'm just going to run my bone folder in this little area here. And then I have another piece. All the papers are from Simple Stories, Hearth, and Home. So I have another piece of paper here that's cut 8 1/8 by 9 5/8. And that's going to cover this chipboard up in the inside of our book and make everything look pretty. And before I put this in, I was thinking that I think I want a ribbon because I love ribbon. You know, if you if you were watching, hi Lynn, if you were watching Jeanette's store video, she has an amazing selection of ribbon. So I made that comment, oh, ribbon heaven. So you can tell I didn't measure those. I don't really care if they're even at this point because it's just going to be holding my ribbon here. This is, I'll give you my little, I probably have said it before, but that's the difference to me between arts and crafts. When you're an artist, you just do things. And when you're a crafter, you have to be more precise. Like if you crochet or knit or sew, you know, your measurements are important. And these measurements are important too, but, you know, at certain points, you're just winging certain things. I'm not measuring this. I just don't want to, I want to make sure it's not too bulky on the inside and not too taut. So that might be good. Now, to adhere this paper to the inside of the book, I'm not going to worry about necessarily using tape. I'm going to use my tape runner. You certainly could use tape, and I usually do like to use the two-sided tape. I feel like it's stronger. So frequently when I'm making a sample or I'm making a book, I will use the two-sided tape. This time I just, I'm choosing to do this for speed, to be honest. Okay. So now I have the inside of my book covered. And I'm gonna, ooh, look, we gotta get this paper cooperating, because you don't want your book to be all not so pretty on the inside. So I'm gonna run my bone folder over this again to find my spine. Okay. And moving on. So for this inside, I made a little pocket. How I made this pocket was I took a piece of paper that was 5 1/2 by 4 1/2, and I scored it at on the 5-inch side, I scored it at 5, and on the 4 1/2-inch side, I scored it at 1/4. And again, I mitered my corners. I put my tape on. I'm going to fold this in. It's going to make a nice little pocket over here. And one edge of the pocket is gonna remain open, so you can kind of tuck in sideways as well as from the top. And then I haven't trimmed up my paper to cover the pocket yet. I'll do that on camera. This is a piece of paper that's 3 3/4 by 4 1/4. And I put a little mark here at 3 1/4. So I'm just gonna put the point of my paper on my trimmer and swivel this over to 3 1/4. And I'm gonna hope that this is perfect. You know, I did try to check that out in advance. Wow! Yay! Okay, now on this side, we are going to put a waterfall. I am choosing to build my waterfall outside the book just because I think I can manage it a little bit better. I chose to use black paper because I think it looks the nicest for with this line. And I like to start a waterfall with a base piece because it's real easy to go crooked. Hi, Karen. It's really easy to go crooked making a waterfall. And I still might go crooked, as you can see from my previous work. So this actually, this tape I'm putting on here is actually what's going to hold this assembly in the book. So I wanted to get that done before I start building the waterfall. So this piece of paper that I'm building the waterfall on is 4 inches wide and it's 7 3/4 inches tall. And again, just for time, hey Lauren, Audrey, just for the sake of time, I already cut my pages. They are 4 inches wide, just like my base piece, and 4 1/2 inches tall. And I scored them at a 1/2 inch here. So that's kind of our hinge. And again, I already put my tape on the back so I could be ready to go. I punched the corners on here with my corner chomper that has the scallop and the cloud. This is the scallop side. So all of my black pieces for the waterfall, I punched with that scallop punch. I'm going to remove my tape on the back of my first layer. I like to start at the top. So I'm gonna, and I know this is hard to see on camera because it's black on black. And it's pretty important to start out straight because if you're not straight in the beginning, it's not gonna get any better. And some people use their scoreboard to keep them straight. Like they set this paper in their scoreboard, which I think is a great idea. Okay, I'm pretty happy with layer 1. Now I I've already decided what papers I'm going to put on here, and we will get to that. I can see that I'm off just a little bit, and I don't know if I can get this up or not, and I'm afraid to destroy it again. I can always go back and trim that little bit. And again, it's handmade. So here is my first hinge, right? And it ends right here where I'm dragging my fingernail across. This next piece is going to be folded over, and I'm going to line the fold up with the bottom of this hinge. Waterfalls are one of my favorite things to have included in a book. Hi, Darlene. And I would even put them in a book that has page protectors on the outside if need be, to add more photos. So I have a total of 7 of these black pages that are going to be part of that are making up this waterfall. I think I forgot to disclose that already. And my second to the last one. Okay. At this point, while I have the opportunity, I'm going to go over this with my bone folder. I always say this is teaching the paper who's boss. Okay, so my waterfall is now built. And I'm trying to get everybody to lay down and rest. So now that I have this built, I'm comfortable with putting it in the book. So again, this is going to go on the back here. So as I look at this, I really don't think I want that bottom piece to be straight. I want it to mimic all the rest of them, so I'm going to punch this as well. And I'm going to actually fill in a couple of these little gaps, because anything that's interactive is going to get a lot of attention, hopefully. And a waterfall is something that's interactive, so people are going to be handling this. So I want to try to make sure that it's going to stay in the book. So it's starting to shape up. Okay, back to my decorations. These pieces I punched with my corner chomper that has the stub and the deco. I used the stub end. I like the way this coordinates together. You can kind of see that there. I'm doing this project and selling these kits. I think this would be a nice, just a nice little gift for somebody. Like maybe a little grandparent gift. But doesn't have to be just for grandparents. But I was thinking that that would be nice. And I just, like I said, I chose to use this paper for my sample because I love these colors. And I do like some of these sayings. So just remember, if you were to repeat this, if you have anything that's directional, you're going to have to be careful of where you punch that to make sure that you're not punching the wrong corners. Otherwise, you know, not the end of the world if you had all 4 corners punched, that's for sure. But I tried to be thoughtful when doing that. I also tried to like think a little bit about how I wanted these papers to look as the book is opened and closed. A little Christmas folio would be very nice. Like I said, this design could be used for any occasion. And I know this is a popular design. It's been around for a while, but I just wanted to show you how to make it. It's a project that really doesn't take terribly long. Unless you're the pokiest crafter like me. And I put the tape on the wrong side of that paper. So that's a nice saying there, I thought. You know, I am going to go back to that one. I'm going to probably have to rearrange, or I just don't want 2 pieces of yellow right next to each other. And I left my adhesive remover at the store because that's what happens. I don't always have my... What is the size of these? The decorative papers that I am using here are 3/4 of an inch by 3/4 of an inch. Because this piece here is 4.5 with this 1/2 inch band here by 4. So that gives us a nice little border. So I think I can redeem myself right here. I think. Go up here. So I said I didn't want two yellows together, and I just put two yellows together. And now I would have three yellows together. Hi, Janet. So I also cut little strips here to put over this hinge. Just a little more decoration. And I started to put tape on this. I think I would glue them perhaps if I'm careful and don't channel my inner kindergartner with the glue, because when you're using glue, you have to be a little careful when you have an interactive book, because you don't want to close things up. And of course, I need my stainless steel pin for my glue, and it's not here. Because it's where? Back at the shop with my adhesive remover. So I tried to get ahead of myself and not make you watch me tape, but you're stuck watching me tape. So here I switched over to score tape just because I have an open roll of the 1/4 inch, and that works for this. These little strips, by the way, are 3/8 of an inch by 3 3/4 inches. Can I say again, I like this paper? You know I do too. Love, love, love it. Okay, let's pop these little decorative strips on. I think that kind of finishes off each page. It's not necessary to do this, but I like the way it looks. Yes, I am going to sell the kit for this. I can post the details after I'm finished with this live. I'll post the details. I wasn't thinking, because I was thinking I'd sell it in the purge sale, which I still can, but you also, when you watch this, you kind of get an opportunity to purchase the kits in advance. So that is the inside. There's some cut apart cards that I cut apart, and I'm playing hide and seek with myself with them, but I thought they would be cute tucked in this pocket. There's also a sheet that's that has tags that I think cutting the tags and placing some of those in the pockets might be cute also. So for the front, here we can tie this closed. So I just brought things home with me for the front, and I didn't have a total plan, but Simple Stories makes these page pieces, the simple pages, page pieces, which are great if you want to do a layout, because you get the title and you get some bits and pieces. I thought that some of these would work great. Yes, Amy, you do have to make one of these. So obviously, So Very Blessed isn't going to fit on here. However, look at how cute that little birdie is. Oh, there's another one I could choose from. So happy together. I'm going to leave that off to the side. And even though No Place Like Home is nice, I don't think I'm going to use it here. I may use this house. I really like the birdies. I have to say, I really like the birdies. So I may call it a day with So Happy Together and the birdies. Or I buried my scissors. I'm going to cut this piece apart. So I have a few more flowers. I can make that cluster a little bit bigger. And I always tell people in my store, if your question is that popped? The answer is yes. So I am going to pop those up. I have some other goodies over here that I'm playing with that I think I want to add as well. So I have some of this, whatever, from Jelly Bean Soup, this garland, if you will, that I thought the leaves look kind of like the leaves in the wreaths in this line. So I'm hoping to find a place where I can include a little scrap of this because I like it. So I might cut this a little bit shorter. Hope you don't mind my hearing me think out loud. I think that So Happy Together is appropriate for a family photo book. So, anybody, hi Vicky. So anybody who's watching, you want to tell me if you're hosting Thanksgiving or not? I've been married 33 years this year. We just celebrated our anniversary, and we've hosted every year except for one. Hey, Kim. Going to mother-in-law's, that's always good. Yeah, we just started, and thank you for the anniversary wishes. We started hosting just because, you know, when you're newlywed and you have all your new goodies, you know, it's fun to host. Another going to in-laws. So, you know, my in-laws are coming here. So if I asked them, they would say they were coming to their in-laws. How about that? You know, I keep making this little piece shorter and shorter and shorter. But I'm not giving up on it because it's going to find a place in here. I'm telling you, because I want it to. I like, I just like different textures. Maybe I made that too short. Maybe it should look like it's coming out of the bird. Maybe I should calm down. Or maybe it doesn't have a home there. Maybe it can go on the inside. I also have these, I brought home these keys from Graphic 45 because I like them too. I think they're cute. You know, Thanksgiving should be a family affair and everybody should help. So I'm thinking about tying this key on my ribbon over here. I'm getting another idea. Wouldn't this be cute? To have the key hanging from the spine. Okay, I'm going to call it to done. So here's my front cover with our little key. We have our ribbon closure. This is medium weight chipboard, by the way. It's not real heavy, but it's doing the job for this little project. And open up, and we have our pocket here that we can tuck things in. And we have our waterfall over here with all this pretty paper. And that's what I have to show you tonight. So I will be posting the details for the kits in some comments later on. And I thank you for watching live or recorded. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And I will see you soon for another, I don't know, demo, store, tour, maybe. No, you know what I'm going to show you next? I think on my next time I talk to you, it's going to be what our Plaid Friday specials are going to be. So thank you, Karen. Susan, I'm sorry you just tuned in as soon as I'm tuning off, but you certainly can watch the replay. So thank you very much, everyone. Good night.